Hello, everybody. Sean Ellis here for Eternal X Wolfpack Paranormal, the podcast. And tonight, I actually decided to do something a little different. As you notice, my background has changed. I'm out about in Galesburg. I actually had to come out, and I am sitting at the patio of Buffalo Wild Wings, where they have the famous Buffalo Wild Wings with all the spices you can get and cold beer on hand as well. So I'll actually be having a beer here a little while after the show, and maybe a few wings too. But yeah, I'm actually sitting out in the patio of a nice night out here at Buffalo Wild Wings. Tonight, I also have a co-host, and you have met her before, Miss Pam Harris.
Hey, how's it going?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Hmm. So
Change the
how's
scenery, huh?
a little bit.
Yeah.
Get out, get among the town, see if anybody notices I'm out and about, and
Yeah.
something different.
Idea. Yeah.
Yeah, something different. So tonight we have Miss Jacki Bainter from Spoon River Paranormal, and she's been on the show many times. Well, actually, a few times. I shouldn't say many, but a few times. And we've also had some great conversations about some stuff in the past as well. And one thing we will talk about tonight, and I do have a picture of it, is the Witch's Circle. So let's bring on Miss Jacki Bainter.
Uh,
Hi, Jackie.
How you been?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
Oh, I've been hanging in there. We had a pretty good investigation last night. Did you get a chance to see the video I sent you?
Yeah, really interesting.
That is interesting. I watched it too.
We were actually doing a little bit of Reiki last night, and one of the guests was very curious on how it worked, and she thought that was pretty interesting. So she learned some new stuff. So you can catch that video, by the way, on the Eternal X Wolfpack Paranormal or Haunted Happy Hour and Eternal Paranormal. Because I did team up with those two guys last night, and we did have a great turnout at the Masonic Lodge in Keysburg, Illinois.
And I want to shout out to Victor Santiago. Hello.
It looked like
You're breaking up a little bit again, Jackie,
oh,
but she keeps breaking up.
I know I can't make it out.
Still can't hear you.
can't.
Yeah, you keep breaking up a little bit.
Oh no,
Do you have headphones? That might help.
I do. Um,
But
I
she's
just
been
Yeah,
she's been
you're packing and moving and
I know, I know. Let me go look for my headphones and well, I don't know if that would help with my mic though, would it?
uh,
no.
maybe not. Hi, Susan.
We got someone here in the house. We got Victor Santiago and Susan in the house. But we'll do the best we can tonight. I know you're in the process of moving,
Yeah.
and I do appreciate you coming on the show tonight as well. The Witches Circle. We've heard very many things about that. We also heard the fact there was two at one time, and I took a team out there and we went through the timber and scoured the place, and there's actually only one in the original one.
Well, I actually got a message from one of my followers, and they were telling me about this other place. Like they were calling it the Witch's Teepee. And it is this wooden fort looking thing that's built in the woods behind Illinois American Water, which is across the street from Springdale. And I have actually seen it. I've
Oh,
been in,
wow.
and I thought maybe it was like a homeless encampment shelter because it looked like a shelter. But when I was getting harassed about the Witches Circle video that I did, there was this warlock that kept messaging me saying you didn't put the right witches circle, and he was essentially talking about this teepee. So apparently there is a group that goes and does some sort of rituals in the woods at Illinois American Park.
Oh wow. Well, they
So,
kept claiming, according to what we seen in the chats, what we posted that day, that there was actually 2 of them in the cemetery area, but
yeah.
there's not.
So whenever you go to the circle, there's a path behind it where there people are also, but in order for it to circle, it has to have like stone and encirclement around it, which there wasn't. And it has to have like a tree growing on top of, some of the graves, which there was that, but it was kind of in the woods, so that would be expected. I don't think it was a witch's circle, but people always claim to know better than you. So,
Well, like I said, I actually did take the team out there, and we went behind the Wix's circle, walked down that path down toward the timber. We did see the grave sitting there that was before the timber line, and then we went actually into the timber and walked the whole timber all the way to the end, and nothing.
right,
Not even a clearing.
right.
So
Great. Was, about it if you want, so
yeah.
ritual elsewhere, I can't do that. It doesn't make it,
Yeah. Jackie is in the process of moving. If her mic keeps breaking up a little bit, that's why. She's kind of having a little difficulty tonight. We're just going to do the best we can. But yeah, you said you also had an experience there not long ago, and I think it was before I actually showed up, and you said you wasn't feeling well after you were there that time.
So every time I go to the witch's circle and actually go inside the circle, I end up in the hospital afterwards.
Wow.
Wow.
So yeah.
Wow.
With my
I know you're one of the most well-grounded people I know, so I shouldn't be affecting you the way it is when you were there.
Yeah. Well, and we took, I used some phone apps the last time I was there to try to catch some EVPs.
Yeah.
And there was a woman that came through, and she was talking about her kids. And on one of the headstones, this woman had lost like 5 or 6 kids.
Wow.
And she came through and, was talking about what we said about the kids. And she was like, these kids are mine, or something along those lines. But she didn't seem friendly, like didn't want us there.
Oh. Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
I
Have you ever went to a location where you had to absolutely leave and you will never go back?
Well, I don't know if I'll never go back. And there was this case there that had shrunken heads in it. And my husband and I went over to the case, and we were looking at the shrunken heads, and we immediately felt sick, like sick to our stomachs.
Oh, wow.
That area, we were fine.
Oh, wow. That's interesting.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever been to a location that I felt like I was getting sick at this point. The heavy feeling of breathing, I have experienced that, but not to the point of getting sick. I'm wondering if it's because you practice more the lighter side and you're attracted to them.
I don't know. I don't know. Or maybe maybe I'm just not grounding as much as I think, and they're trying to come through me somehow. I don't know.
It's a possibility. I mean, you could get what do you call a paranormal hangover?
Hangover, yes.
Where you're feeling so weak the next day just for being at a location and drained.
Oh, I do get those. Like if I'm at an overnight investigation or not even overnight where we're somewhere really late. Oh yeah, the next day I feel drained and horrible, like I have a hangover. So,
Hmm. I think
Yeah.
I've only experienced that one time, and I actually was doing some ghost writing, and with a lady helping her with her dad, and that was the most draining thing I have ever experienced. And then after that is when well, not long after that is when I got my Menaki rights from my mentor, my Reiki mentor, and I haven't had any issues since. And it seems to be working very well since I've had those rights given to me.
awesome.
So, do you do anything special before you go somewhere for protection or afterwards?
Well, I'll wear like high neck for like example, and I'll salt. And
Yeah.
I have some white melon oil, and that also helps.
Yeah.
I
So, you think that the meditation is what heavy meditation is that before you would go somewhere or after?
usually afterwards, you know,
Afterwards? Yeah.
yeah. But I said the past few times I went to the witch's circle, I was so, you know,
Yeah. Wow. Um,
Do you think it's possibly from one of the brothers that hung themselves in that tree there that we keep hearing about that is angry?
I'm not sure, but I do know that I will probably never go in the circle again. 'Cause I want to end up in the hospital again, essentially.
right.
The
Well,
last the last time that I was actually there, and I think I talked to you after the Memorial Day weekend when I was there. I actually did some energy work there and shut down some of that energy that was there because it was very high, and people have been going out there and making sacrifices again, and they do not need to be doing that at somebody's grave, especially in
yeah.
the cemeteries. That's so disrespectful.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, one of my followers sent me a message and said that they were walking up to the witch's circle one day, and there was this woman like standing in the middle of the circle screaming, "Show yourself to me now!" And
Wow.
something now. And
I will say we have seen shadows of a female walking around by that circle in the backside of it toward that path.
oh God, well that reminds me, it's not even the witch's circle. You know,
Hmm.
there's a path, or actually three paths that go to the circle. There's one path that goes back to that other burial. There's another
Hmm.
path that goes to the side part of the cemetery, and then well, that circle cemetery. And they said they saw this guy dressed all in black
Yeah.
Oh,
walking,
wow.
and I never saw this guy. Never saw anyone at all. They
Yeah.
walked right towards down the, and I was telling Sean about this, and Sean said that that guy buried nearby.
Yeah. Yep. So, yeah, we've seen stuff like that too, as the shadowy guy in dark a few times when we've been out there for sure.
Mhm.
Um, we've also seen Mildred Hallmark walking through there as well, like a silhouette of her walking from the pavilion area.
Yes. So if you don't know who Mildred Hallmark is, this is for the followers. There was a lady that was found murdered in the cemetery. I think it was back in the 30s. But black. It wasn't found like in the pavilion. It was found in the vicinity. Walking up told me because I get messages all the time. she said they watched this white orb form and kind of like cross the road, and then it just like formed into a silhouette of a woman.
Wow.
Yeah, from I'm trying to think how it's sitting right there. If you're facing north from that pavilion looking out, they've made that where they put ashes for people now. And that's where we seen the silhouette of Mildred Harmark walking through there, is in that location. And it's just kind of right of the timberline in that open spot.
Yeah.
And we've seen that at least twice there before.
Wow. I haven't seen Mildred yet, but I did a reenactment of her for one of my videos one time.
You freak anybody out?
Somebody had commented something, and I was like, "Hey, this is just a reenactment. This isn't the real."
Yeah, that's.
But I do have a suggestion for you. I don't know if you've ever done this or not, but if you ever go to a location and you feel sick, is do a meditation in the shower with some salt, because that's cleansing and it rinses away anything that you've been around. I mean, it's just a suggestion. I don't know if you ever need something else instead of going to the hospital. It might, Yeah.
That's crazy that
I know that you
it
get
drains
so
that much
sick.
energy out of her to make her
Right.
sick.
For her to get sick like that.
Well, and when we were in New Orleans, we stayed on Royal Street in this hotel called the Royal Hotel or the Hotel Royal.
Yeah, the Hotel Royal.
But it's right down the street from down Laurie's murder castle where she killed everyone.
Oh.
I sick that whole stay while we were at the Hotel Royal. I wasn't feeling that time. But when I left the hotel, I was feeling.
Hey, Jackie.
We can't hear you.
I'm going to ask you to see if you can drop out one more time and see if you can come in a little more better.
Yeah.
You keep staying in longer this time than you did the last time, but to see if we can get you to stay in here more.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll see you back here in a few.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, that's crazy how she gets so sick like that. I mean, because you're really affected if you're getting sick.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know? Yeah.
She is very grounded and very intuitive and everything she does.
Yeah.
And we've had discussions about things like that before. And like I said, I happened to be out at the Witches Circle not long after she was. And she says she would never go back because she just keeps getting sick there.
Yeah, that's crazy. But for her to also go to New Orleans and get sick and not feel well, there must be a certain type of spirit, I guess, or that affects her in some way.
Well, they talk about energy vampires and people being around that can actually drain their energy.
Yeah.
And it just wonders sometimes maybe if something's not following her sometimes to do that to her. And
Yeah, because it sounds like an automatic hangover.
Hello, David.
Hi, David. You know what I mean? It sounds like an automatic hangover that she gets.
Yeah,
And-
she is, like I said, she is very intuitive about what she does.
Yeah.
And open, and she does do a lot of stuff, like I said, and she does a good job at what she does. Even when she does, she'll investigate the place and the location. She does a lot of that as well to find out what's going on as well.
Yeah.
So hopefully we can get her back in here in a few minutes, and
Yeah, she should be back.
Yeah, because she said she was in the process of moving and etc. So I know she's kind of got a bad location where she's at tonight. So
Yeah. And there's a lot of echo because she's in an empty
here she
house.
goes.
So
Here she goes.
Can you hear me better? I have some ear
Yes.
pods in. I don't know if
Yes.
they'll work.
yeah, it's 100% better.
Okay, awesome.
So
Yeah.
far. But yeah,
so far.
so yeah. Do you think maybe possibly an energy vampire follows you once in a while?
It could be possible. Before I went to New Orleans, I did have some mysterious marks on my body. And then, like, I had this
Oh
sudden
no.
urge to go to New Orleans. So you never know.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it
Yeah.
sounds to me like you get an automatic hangover, is what it, and usually the hangover is the next day. But
Yeah.
you're like a time lapse and it's automatic. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? So I don't
Mm-hmm.
know. I wonder if it's a certain kind of energy or it is, um, an energy vampire type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
some
pretty
some
crazy.
some people talk about getting jumped. So
Yeah.
I don't know if maybe that's what that is. I don't really know.
Yeah, and that's pretty much what an energy vampire is because do not have a warning and they drain everything that you have. So, I
Yeah.
mean,
So
that to me that's my personal opinion. So,
it would have to be something negative, I would think, in order
yes,
for it to make you feel sick.
I would think so. Or it could be someone with a higher energy level, and
Hmm.
when it throws you off balance, when you are dizzy sometimes you're nauseous. So,
Right.
it could be something like that.
That, that
So,
kind that kind of shocks me though with Jackie though because she's got such a high energy around her,
uh-huh.
and normally that you can avoid things with the high energy level that she has, and and I know she does take precautions because, like I said, we've
Yeah.
had discussions and stuff, and but yeah, that's strange. I mean, maybe we should take another trip out to the witches' circle and see
I'll
what
I
stay
don't
else.
think
outside
she's
of the
gonna go.
circle.
I still want you to go out there and do an investigation with me one of these nights, or at least we got to go
Yeah.
somewhere to have an investigation. Um,
Yeah.
I know you
Well,
do some. Go ahead.
sorry, go ahead.
No, go.
What I was going to say about the Springdale is that it has, not just the Witches Circle and not just Mildred Hallmark, but it has quite a few legends surrounding it, including a vampire legend,
The purple.
Oh.
and the purple. And one of the graves on his family plot is like covered in stones and rocks, and it looks like they sure the hell didn't want anyone getting out of there.
So,
So,
Wow.
there's an interesting thing that you brought up about the purples. When I was on the old team, we actually did some research, and Mr. Purple actually was one of the people that wrote the state constitution of Illinois. And
Oh.
we were starting to dig into that, and actually went out there, and we were talking about because everybody claims to be a vampire, him being a vampire, and we said we know you're not a vampire, and all of a sudden the energy in that area just changed when we were out there that day because I think he
yeah.
was just getting so aggravated. That energy was so thick, and when you stood there, it was that dense energy that was always around that grave. But I noticed that day when we went out there and we said, "Hey, we did some research. We found out that you're this, this, and this," and the whole atmosphere right there in that little area just changed.
Yeah, and
So, what do you
sometimes
think?
I think that sometimes that people need to find a different avenue for protection and meditation because it could be that it's like an immune type of thing.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You
Mm-hmm.
need to
Hmm.
change something about it, whether it be a stone or salt or whatever. If you change it, you might notice that doesn't happen for the next 2 or 3 investigations. Because if it's
Right.
happening like every third investigation or whatever, you might see a difference, maybe.
Right.
So I wanted to ask you what, because you were breaking up in the beginning, we couldn't hear what you did actually for protection before or
So,
after.
So I have this malachite necklace that I wear because malachite is supposed to ward off evil energy.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I've taken quartz and just because quartz crystal is my favorite, just the clear quartz, and I usually have some of that in my pocket.
Yeah.
I have some white angelica oil from like Young Living Oil, and that's supposed to like bring your angels for protection. But I
Right.
always forget. I forget the angelica a lot of the time, so
Mhm.
maybe that's the problem. Um, and I use a Palo Santo stick, so I'll just kind of like
Uh-huh.
smudge myself, because
Yeah.
Palo Santo, the smoke from Palo Santo is different from sage, and that it's specifically for spirits. So, like when you
Yeah.
sage your house, you're diffusing the energy, but when
Right.
you Palo Santo your house, you're diffusing the spirits. So,
Yeah. There is a difference. And I like
mm-hmm,
the Palo Santo a lot better than I do the sage because
mm-hmm,
sometimes I think that the sage is actually, again, is an immune thing where it's not enough. Um,
right,
you know, so I think the
yeah,
Palo Santo myself works really well.
So you asked me about the purples and what I thought.
yeah,
Um, with all the stuff that's going on nowadays and things that's showing up in society and those strange videos that cannot actually be explained, that's not AI generated, because you do know if some of them are AI generated, but now things
oh,
are
you can
getting
tell,
so hard to tell anymore with some of it. But with the stuff back toward then, later times in videos, in watching certain ones and they morph, in knowing how much time it would take for them to actually do CGI and stuff, it makes me wonder, because we always hear about the draconians
yeah,
and things going on nowadays, and they seem to be a very popular name right now going through the paranormal areas and through just regular talk is the draconians and stuff. But they're also saying energy vampires, which we know do exist, and the vampires do exist because people has got signs of it. They've got the fangs and stuff like that, and people's actually been documented through the ages of being related to an actual vampire.
mm-hmm,
So they do exist. I think it would be really tough, but I mean, like I said, with things the way they are now and new way people are starting to think, it could be a possibility still that he was, even
right.
even if he,
Well,
even if he practiced it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Vampirism,
um, scientists have discovered that there were 8 different types of human hominids before Homo sapiens actually dominated the earth. So who's to
right?
say, like, if there were vampires, it was one of those that were thought to have died out that just never did. Same with, I
And
believe
then
that with like Bigfoot. What if he was just another
Yeah.
human species that never died out? We don't really know.
and then you've also got it, the fact that you hear certain celebrities drinking blood to be
Yeah,
youthful and other types of things. So
yeah.
it leaves a big question mark.
Well, so
Well,
I grew up. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
oh, you're fine. I was just going to say, but that's what the paranormal is about learning and,
Yes.
research and finding answers. So that's exactly,
Exactly. And so I grew up in the 90s, and one of the big bands from the 90s was the Smashing Pumpkins.
yeah.
Mhm.
And Billy Corgan was on a podcast twice. I'm pretty sure one of them, if not both of them, were the Howard Stern show. And he said that he was in studio and he was recording, and he literally watched somebody shapeshift right before his eyes, and
Wow.
it freaked him out, but that was somebody that he knew and had been working with, and then they morphed back real quickly. So and he's talked about this on a few different occasions. And then recently there was this rapper, and I can't remember what his name is, but he was saying that he booked a photo shoot, and they took him to the top of this mountain for this shoot, and they were there taking their photos and stuff, and he's like, man, I want to be rich and famous and have all this money like you guys. How do you do it? And they're like, well, we do demonic rituals. And he's like, no, seriously, like, how do you do it? And they were like, we do demonic rituals. And then I
Mhm.
guess one of the guys shape shifted right in front of his eyes, And he said he jumped out the car and was like looking for a way out of there, and he saw a postal vehicle that was delivering mail. He jumped in that mail truck and told the postman, "Take me down from this mountain. I don't want to be here anymore. Give me a ride. I've got to get out of here." And
Wow.
the postal worker ended up giving him a ride out of there, but you know, he was freaked out. And so that's two different musicians that I have heard a similar story from, where they saw somebody shapeshift.
Interesting.
And then you've also have some now. I won't mention names because they're very popular right now in the limelight. But they've actually got videos of them where their eyes are switching to slits.
Yes, I've seen that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot
And
about that.
you wonder, how do they do that if they're on stage and they're in the middle of a performance? How do they blink their eyes and they turn to slits and
Right.
then blink their eyes again and then they're normal again? Like, how does that
Yeah.
happen? Like,
Or
if anyone out there has contacts and can do this, how do you do that? You know?
yeah,
Right, right.
especially, and they even see like a black mist or a shadow around them at times too. And they've seen that on some of the videos as well. And I mean, I know they do stage props and stuff like that. So, but to go that far to have things like that happen and people catching it, even people that's just in the crowd are catching it on their cell phones when they're recording them and putting it out on the internet.
Yeah, that's
Well,
wild.
our government's come out and said that aliens are real and aliens exist and they walk amongst us. So who's to say like some of these famous people aren't aliens? And
aliens.
that's maybe that's why they're famous, because they're put there to do a job and they're put there for a reason, you know, control the way people think. I don't know.
Well, I've heard rumors and, like I said, conspiracy stories of certain names, big names that have been
Yeah.
down through generations that actually carry that money with them that are linked to things like that as well.
That's
Well, you know, all of
crazy.
our presidents are supposedly related to each other, all but one, and I'm not
I,
sure
I
who the
did
one
hear.
was.
I
But
did
there was
hear
a girl that did like a family tree thing on the presidents, and it was for like a school project, and she linked them all together through like common ancestors, which is so weird. But
Wow.
I did hear that one, and some of them even are in how do I say, secret societies. We know like the Skull and Crossbones. We've heard of that before. We know several
Yeah.
parts and pieces actually admitted to be in that group,
right,
and some of the things that we've actually seen from footage of late footage, like in the 80s, that's actually come out now.
yeah.
So, but
I
yeah,
love
it's
conspiracy theories just as much as I love the paranormal.
well, I could definitely get on conspiracy theories, but the problem is every time I start getting on a good one, sometimes I'll get kicked off here for about a week.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Oh,
Let's
yeah.
not do that.
But yeah, for some
Yeah.
reason we must be hitting a good note, because otherwise they would be kicking me off. but
Right.
but yeah, it's definitely interesting.
Yeah.
So I know you have a collection of crystal balls.
Yes, I do.
You
I have
do?
quite a few. They're all packed away right now, gosh darn it.
Yeah.
But just, I have so many. Like, I have quartz, I have obsidian. I actually have an obsidian mirror too. Like, they're called scrying
Oh, yeah.
mirrors.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, one time I looked in that thing and I did not like the reflection looking back. It was not me, or it looked like the crypt keeper. And I'm like, I hope this isn't an
Oh.
omen, like I'm gonna get sick and this is what I'm gonna end up looking like or
Oh.
something, you know. But it was scary.
Wow.
I've actually done some scrying, and it was very interesting. I was down in Galena, Illinois, and I was with Paranormal Exposure and with Kat Armstrong, and she took a picture of me when I was doing some scrying down there, and she said it looks like I was like in old age form, and I've
Yeah.
actually got that picture.
But that's what the scrying is about, is giving you an image of the spirit that is there,
Yeah.
So,
but using your face, you know.
and then
Yeah.
I even took a picture of her, and it was kind of the same thing. She looked several years older.
Oh, wow.
And we
That's
did it in
interesting.
that little outpost in Galena, Illinois.
Yeah. I think that's a very different technique of, I guess, investigating to find out, who the spirit is, or. But I think the scrying is a very interesting technique.
Yeah. You guys
Yeah.
cut out just
I think,
then.
yeah.
Did
Oh,
that
we
happen
did?
to
Really,
you?
that actually showed that when
Oh,
we were down in or everybody.
hey,
We
Sean, you're breaking up.
Yeah, Sean, you're breaking up.
Moose's
Okay,
house.
there you go. There you go. Go ahead, start over, Sean, because you were breaking up.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think Pam, I think you're the one that taught me how to do that when we were down at Moose's house when we were just starting to experiment with it.
Well, it's kind of hard to teach someone that when you have a room full of people, because when you do it, you can't have a room full of people. That's why it didn't really work out. But that's my own opinion. But everybody does things differently, and I'm just interested in the paranormal. I'm not an investigator, but I love to investigate. So
I'm with you on that.
yeah, I don't have a team or anything like that, but I love to investigate.
Right.
Even here at home by myself, or
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, to teach someone how to do that is kind of hard, because you can't have, I mean, I think he got the gist of it, but it's just hard to do when you have a room full of people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It just doesn't work.
It
You
is.
really got to concentrate.
Yeah,
It's quite easier when it's like you by yourself or just one
exactly. And that's the way it's supposed to be, because the energy is different. But it's a very cool technique. But I also like, I seen one time, Sean, where you guys used smoke.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting too. I
Yeah,
mean, I love the different ideas, and
I actually borrowed that method off of Eternal Paranormal. They had a fog machine when we were down at the Rock Island Roadhouse investigating.
yeah,
And I happened to mention to Bill Walter, which is the owner of Broadhead Manor, can you make me a door out of PVC with little holes in it so we can put the mist through the holes? I wanted to see what actually walked through the door. And he made me a
right.
stand and connected his fog machine to it. And we actually got some really interesting stuff out there because he'd had time just come out a little. And we actually seen some images, and we actually posted that online the night that happened.
Yeah. Have you? Do you guys know who Epic Eric is?
Mm-mm.
Well, one time we investigated in Michigan, and he was there, and it's really cool because he takes his own scrying mirror everywhere he goes, and it's the black obsidian mirror, and he takes Polaroid pictures at the same time,
Oh.
and I've never seen any pictures like this ever. You know, it's a really cool technique. One of these days, I want to investigate with him and see how he does it.
Yeah. You guys are going to have Epic Eric on the show.
Yeah, yeah,
We'll have
it's
to look
really
into that.
cool. Yeah, we'll do that. But it was a really cool technique, and the pictures he got was so interesting. And there's just no way all those colors could be in a picture.
Wow. That
Yeah.
does sound interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting.
So you mentioned, Jackie, about the scrying and what you seen in it you didn't like.
Mm-mm.
What
It was
what was the feeling that you had of that when you seen it?
it actually scared me, like it
Mhm.
was a scary looking image, and it was done in my old house, and my old house was extremely haunted. I mean, we had poltergeist activity, we had all kinds of stuff going
Yeah.
on, and that was back when I was more actively investigating, so I don't know if like something followed me home. But we were also, that house is in Lewistown, and Lewistown is basically built on a bunch of ancient Native American civilizations and Native American burial grounds and things like that. Their mascot is the Lewistown Indians because they had unearthed so much when
Yeah.
they were building the town. So it was just really negative. really negative stuff at that old house. I mean, my daughter was affected when she was a little kid. There was a big dark shadow being that was seen standing in her closet. She actually got a picture of it. Another time I had a friend over and she was a sensitive and she's like, there's this thing that's 7 or 8 foot tall standing in your daughter's bedroom door right now. So like we went in there because it was like scary. And then all the toys that had batteries in them that were
Mhm.
underneath her bed started going off and reacting and nobody
Yeah.
touched them. They were under the bed. Like her little leapfrog was making noises and
Yeah.
like that was freaky. And it's like, you can mess with me, but don't mess with my child.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's one thing I don't like is, when I get a call and it has to do with kids, that's priority. I
Right.
definitely make it a priority to get there as soon as I can, because being a little kid, being scared of that stuff and not knowing for
Yeah.
themselves what they're dealing with, you always make that a priority to help the kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Well, and
love
we
old
also
houses though. Old houses are the best.
they are nice, but this was a
Yeah.
modular house that nobody had lived in before but us,
Oh
you
wow.
know.
It's
And
probably the ground.
I was part of this spiritual group that was like an online spiritual group, and I remember going to the group saying like, "Hey, I'm having this problem. My house, there's
Uh
something really wrong with it." And so someone remote viewed the place and said there were like 18 different portals on the property. And I was like, well,
wow.
maybe that's part of the problem.
Yeah.
But
That
we
would
had an
be
elemental thing, and it looked kind of like a cat, but it stood on 2 legs. And that was something
Wow.
that my daughter had saw often. And so I had reached out to the spiritual group. I was like, can you help remove this entity from my house? All the gifted healers that are here, please get it
Yeah.
out. And so they were working on it that day, and I was home alone. I heard whimpers and moans like a dog, and I also heard bangs and thumps on the wall as they were getting rid of it.
Wow.
And then after that, we never saw it or had a problem with it again.
Wow.
I've had
So,
some instances we've heard growling before. That's
Yeah.
definitely interesting with that.
didn't
Um,
you hear a growl at the witches' circle?
yeah,
I
the
think so.
last time we were there, we actually did hear a growl when we were there, because it was like toward that path. But like I said, we didn't even see anything there. Thank you very much.
Um so I have a question. When all that happened, of course now it's years later, right?
Mm-hmm.
Does your daughter have abilities?
I think she does, but the house we live in now absolutely is not haunted at all. So, like, we
Uh-huh.
haven't really been bothered with anything. When we first moved in, there was like a ghost cat that I saw a couple different times, and I heard a bell like on its collar or whatever.
Oh yeah.
But that was like right when we first moved in, and I haven't seen or heard anything, for we've been here 2.5 years. It's been at least a year and a half since, so whatever it was, I think it's gone. The people used to be animal hoarders that lived here before,
Uh,
so it was probably like one of their pets or something.
Hmm.
But
yeah.
we haven't really had any problems. But I do
But
think
you
she
think
is
that
spirit.
she is yes.
Yeah, I think she's
Yeah.
spiritually sensitive. She can read people on a dime. She gets better
Yeah.
impressions about people than I do, and I'm pretty good at that. So,
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the most scariest encounter you've encountered and some of the locations? I know you've been overseas as well.
yeah, yep. I went to Istanbul, Turkey, which we went to some really amazing historical places there. Really old religious places. One of the places was the Hagia Sophia, which it's a mosque now, but it used to be like one of the first Christian temples of the time, and it was right where Constantinople and Constantine fell. And then before that, it was built on like this ancient pagan site. So, like, it had a lot of spiritual meaning. There were old mosaics of Jesus and the mother and child, like in gold on the ceiling. It was so
Wow.
cool. We went to this cistern there that was deep under the ground, and that's where they used to store their water way back then. And it's like, how did they know to have their clean water
Yeah.
under the ground like this? But there were Medusa statues, like ancient Medusa statues under the pillars down there, which were really
Mm.
Wow.
cool. Um, But as far as the scariest, I would have to say I've been around somebody that's been demonically possessed before. And
Oh,
that was scary, especially growing up watching the movie The Exorcist. You think, oh my God,
yeah,
I don't want to be around anyone like that. But I
yeah.
had a family member of mine that was possessed, so
Wow. And that's got to be terrifying just in itself. I mean, not even to think about anything else.
yeah. And
Yeah.
they did everything like the girl did on The Exorcist is what this person
Oh,
was doing,
really?
wandering around in the middle of the night, growling, peeing on the floor, things like that. Scary as
Wow.
hell.
Oh, wow. That is scary. Do you think that things like that, when that happens, it has a lot to do with their mental state or not?
Yes, I do.
Mhm.
Because
Yeah.
I don't really want to go much further
Yeah.
into
Yeah. You
that,
don't have to. Yeah.
but
I'm just thinking about,
the
you
person
know,
was highly involved in witchcraft like earlier in their life too. So I
oh,
think that like maybe they could have invited something in, you know.
hmm, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the state of mind that people get in sometimes it contributes to what they see and how open
Mhm.
they actually are to, especially if they're innocent and not knowing anything about it at all. And then they
Mhm.
go into that state of mind and then it really freaks them out.
Yeah, and that's where that's where I came with the conclusion it's has to do with the mental state because if you go to an asylum,
Yeah, I think asylums
the
are full of
stuff is
people that are
crazy. I
yeah.
mean, it's totally crazy. And
Yeah.
it's like the voices don't stop or I mean nothing stops.
Well,
I
and
mean,
it's
it's
very low
constant.
vibrational, like when you're in a low vibrational state, I think
Yeah.
it's easier for that kind of stuff to latch on to you if you're more high vibe and happy go lucky and, just high on life. If you're freaking low and depressed and, like if you have an addiction of some sort, makes it
Hmm.
very
Yeah,
easy
and
for them to latch
think
on.
that I think that the people, with that mental mentality affected the workers is how I look at it personally, because then you
Yeah.
find out the workers were mean and did terrible things. Well, they probably would never have done that had they not been around that energy. So
Right.
their vibration and their energy was so low that everything else took over. And I think that's what caused so many crimes, that was
Yeah.
caused by workers. So that are unheard of or even recorded. So
Right.
yeah, I think your mental state has a lot to do with, and I think that's why meditation is so important because if you don't have some way of grounding and meditating, um, your mental state can go crazy.
Right.
Whether you're young or old, it doesn't matter. You
Well,
have
and
to
haven't
have
you
control.
noticed that like a lot of the old mental institutions are like highly active and highly haunted
Yeah,
because
that's
like
what
they're
I'm
they're
saying. When you
stained,
go there,
Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. I mean, when you go there, I mean, that's all you get this terrible stuff. You get emotional and everything because it hurts.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
it's crazy, crazy.
I
Yeah.
was invited to go to the Trans Allegheny Lunatic
Yeah.
Asylum by Leo Paranormal, and I'm kind
Uh,
of scared, because like
are
I
you
don't want to
going?
get sick. Well,
Yeah.
I told him I was going to, but it's not till November, but I mean it scares me a little bit, just because I
Yeah.
know that it's low vibe entities that are at that place. I
Yeah.
already
Well,
know
just
that.
remember water. Even if you had a bottle of holy water, that's going to help cleanse whatever the immediate time that you feel sick or anything, you might think about that. I mean,
Mhm.
you never know. I
Right.
mean, there's been times where I've been in the shower 3 or 4 times a day
Oh wow.
and that's how I meditate. I don't know how to meditate any other way, and it's the only thing that works for me. And that's why I suggested it.
Well,
I mean,
Okay.
not everybody's the same, but
I will
Yeah.
say this, Jackie. If you did go and you want somebody to tag along with you, I'm definitely game.
All right. Cool.
I
Yeah.
would definitely.
I'm in on it.
Okay. Well,
We're
Definitely.
I will get
tagging you.
back with I'll get back with the group and figure out what date they're planning on it, and we can
Yeah,
all go.
that would be so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that if it's got stuff like that, I'd definitely be interested to see what's there.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and
That'd be very interesting.
I'm getting ready to go to Gettysburg.
Yeah.
And, I worry about the energy there because there are some fields, where 50,000 people died in one day.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've had some friends that actually go out there, and they said it's pretty intense in some spots that are actually
Yeah, everyone has said that.
that are very empathic, and they definitely do feel it when they're out there, and it's intense.
Yeah.
Well, and they have like big stones and rocks on some of the battlefields, which, if you're familiar with the stone tape theory, they believe that, stones and rocks can record like a tape recorder.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And play back the energy. And that could be one of the reasons, like when you go to Gettysburg, you're almost guaranteed to see an apparition or a spirit of some type, some form.
Yeah,
or at least feel it.
That's what I've heard too.
So I'm gonna go check
Is
it
that
out
what
and see
you
if I
would
can see
consider
anything.
as a yeah? Is that what you is that what you, Sean, and Jackie, would you both consider that a residual when that happens?
Like with
I
the
would-
stone tape theory, I would.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I definitely would too, with everything that's happened on that property or on that ground. Yeah, it's carrying a lot of that energy with it.
That's like we lived in an old house for 27 years, and it was built in 1898. And as soon as I walked in there, I knew that there were spirits there, but at the time I had no idea what I was doing or what I was feeling. But over the years, I mean, our kids seen things. That was never bad. There was never any kids there till we lived there. And actually, our ex-son-in-law, our daughter and him was living with us, and he was upstairs, and he went in the house to get his cigarettes. He's coming down the stairs and starts running. The remote was going around the corner, down the stairs, throwing it at him.
Oh
He
my
said,
God.
I am not going back there. But I believe spirit chooses who they want to communicate with, but also if they don't like your energy, you're going to know it.
I think that too. And I
Yeah.
gotta ask, did that house have a lot of original woodwork in it and wood floors and
Every
things like
bit
that?
of it's original. And as soon as it goes up for sale, I swear I'm buying it and I'm moving it. But yeah, it's all original. I actually took the water pump out of the basement. It was still hooked up to the well. There's no water in
wow.
it, but I took the
Yeah.
pump. And there's
Those are
still a
cool.
mound of dirt down there where they dug the basement.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's
Well,
all original.
just like the stone tape theory, I have heard that wood can also record things and hold in residual energy. And if there was
Well, you
all
gotta
original woodwork.
Well, you got to remember also limestone and water.
Yep.
So it was built on limestone foundation. It had a well. The river's not too far. So all of that is there, and I don't know why, but they were very attracted to me and our kids. Our kids didn't even tell us about their experiences until they were grown.
Yeah.
And our son, he's the youngest, so it would have been many years later that he was there. But his girlfriend said, let's just turn the TV off and see if we hear anything. She heard knocking. She heard knocking from inside the wall.
Oh shoot.
And she said, turn the TV on.
Yeah,
Well,
I don't want to hear it anymore.
Yeah.
I will say this, just here recently, I had an elderly man come up to my house, and he said, I grew up in the place you live. And he wanted to come in and see the house and see how much it changed. So anyway, he came over a couple weeks ago, and we got to talking about some stuff, and I said, "Hey," I said, "did you have any family members that were upstairs that played in there? They were kids." Kind of looked at me funny, and I said, "Do they always laugh and giggle up there?" And he just kind of looked at me. And I said, "Did you have any family members that actually like to bake, like your mom or somebody like that?" And he goes, "Yeah." I said, "Did they like to hum?" And he kept looking at me kind of funny. Well, come to find out, I actually got EVPs of probably his family members in my house.
Wow.
Oh, wow. Did anyone pass away there? Any
Not
of his
that he
family
said it.
members?
Not that he said it, but
Yeah.
I think they came back there because it was home to them.
Right. And
Right.
that's what I'm talking about, residual. When you live somewhere for so long, I think that it's just it just happens. I mean, I think your spirit as a residual is actually attached to the place. I know mine's going to be attached to that old place, but you know,
Right.
but they lived there for so long, you know,
Right.
and
Hi, Sheila.
Yeah, that's my
hi,
aunt. That's my aunt, by the way. And actually, a
hi,
little
Aunt
while
Sheila.
ago, actually a little while ago, my sister-in-law, and my brother-in-law popped up, and they're sitting in there eating. So I'm going to join them here in a
Oh.
little bit. I didn't even know
Okay.
they were coming, but yeah, we're
Well,
about the top of the hour too. So
okay.
go
Well, I
ahead,
was going to
Jack.
say something about residual energy because Sean lives in Galesburg. And
Yeah.
Galesburg has those railroad tracks all over
Yeah.
the town. And I
Oh
believe
yeah.
that railroad tracks carry a lot of energy and residuals, and that spirits are like attracted to places that have a lot of railroads.
Well,
So
here's
I'm
something.
surprised there aren't
Here's
more haunting
something.
stories about Galesburg.
Yeah.
Well, there is a location that I have not gone yet that they said that actually 5 people committed suicide and laid on the tracks here in town,
Oh my
and then the
God.
same location. And I'm going to probably do that sometime before the end of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I let me tell you, if I could con this lady into letting me come back over there, it'd probably be the best stuff I ever had. Because there's a railroad track by there, by the way.
By your old house.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's one of the first houses built in that area.
Oh, wow.
So, and the town that I live in was all Indian ground, and it's named after Chief Anderson.
That's cool.
Yeah. So I'm sure that that has a lot to do with it. But these ladies that are there, um, they're just wonderful. I mean, after our neighbors never believed us, and after we moved out, we had both houses at the same time, and they knew we weren't there, and it was locked up. But they seen the lights come on. They seen people walk past the windows. Yeah,
Wow.
they were in shock because they
So then
never
they
paid
believed you
attention.
then.
Yeah, but they never paid attention before because they, always just figured it was us, with the house full of kids, but
Yeah.
it
Well,
wasn't.
ladies, we are at the top of the hour. Got about a few minutes left. Jackie, would you like to tell everybody where they can find you at and etc.?
So my book, Spoon River Paranormal, is available on Amazon. Um, it has free shipping from what I've been told. I also have a Facebook page titled Spoon River Paranormal, an Instagram page titled Spoon River Paranormal, and you can find me on TikTok as Jax B.
Jax B.
That's awesome.
Jax B.
Definitely go check out Jackie. She's an amazing person. I love having her on my
Thank you.
show because the conversation is always amazing, and we can always dig into some of the things that we've all both been at, and talk
Yeah.
about. And we're definitely going to have you back on the show again. Um,
Thank you.
by the way, we need to sit down because I think I asked you a question before you came on this show this time. I
About your
asked
investigation?
No, I asked you if you'd like to co-host a few shows with me coming up. So we need to figure out some
Sure.
days to come on and
Yeah.
co-host with me.
Yeah.
So
Okay. That'd
we're
be
I think
awesome.
the next show needs to be 2 hours.
But
Oh, I could talk all night about this stuff.
Oh, me
Pam.
too. Me too.
I
Me
know
too.
it's great that
Me
I
too.
love how Jackie's energy is, and when she gets to
Yes.
talking about stuff, and I know she does a lot of the investigation and research on everything she does, and she's
you.
not wrong. I mean, and I've seen it for myself. I've actually backed her up on some of the stuff she's actually put out there, and she does do some great work. So definitely go check out Jackie, and
Thank you.
check out her book Spoon River Paranormal as well.
It was
Can I
great
add
to
to
meet you,
that?
Jackie. Sure.
It was nice to meet you too, Pam. And I hope that we all get to do this again and hopefully go to
I
the
know.
Trans-Allegheny together.
Or something.
But I want to add to what you said, Sean, about me backing up my stuff. You know, whenever I put a story out there, I do put a lot of thought and research into it. A lot of the stories I have heard, I have read about. I'm not just making stuff up. And when you come from a small town or a small area, not everybody has heard about the paranormal stories, especially
Right.
like at the Jubilee. You know, there's a lot of Sasquatch stories about Jubilee, and I've had people come on and say, well, I've never heard of it before, so it must not be true because I've never
Right.
heard of it. Well, now you
Yeah.
have heard of it. So start looking into
Right.
it and doing your own research because you will find things. You know, you
Right.
will find things. So that's all I
Yes.
have to add.
Like I said, I love digging into some of the stuff, especially like when we get into the witches circle and stuff like that as well. And I
Yeah.
do know you
I got
do
a lot of harassment.
Oh, I bet.
A lot of
Well,
harassment over the witches circle.
Send them my way because I'll back you up every time, girl. I will
Definitely.
back you up. I will back you up anytime. I'd like to thank you for coming on the show tonight, and I appreciate that. And we will definitely have you on in the future, and we'll discuss a few times. You can come on and co-host with me before the end of the year.
Awesome. Thank you. And it was really nice meeting you, Pam. Once
You
again.
too. And safe moving and all
Thank
the
you.
happy stuff.
Thank you. Oh God, moving's hell. Moving's worse.
I
than
know.
dealing with the
I'll never do
paranormal.
it again. I'll never do it again.
Well, I know
I
you're
don't
very
blame
busy.
you.
I know you're really busy, so I'm going to let you go, and I'm going to close out the show. Have a great night, Jackie, and
Thanks for having me, Sean.
And we will see you soon again.
Bye.
Bye.
That was Jacki Bainter. She's amazing, and
Amazing.
she has really done her research on the stuff that she does as well. I've
Yeah.
also got a few things here I'd like to promote. Pam's got her book. Jackie had her book. We also got Austin Light from American Demon Comics. He does an amazing job. Check out his comics. I told him I would help him out as well. We also have Nathaniel Alwell's book. It's out. I'm going to help him out as well. So go check out that. And we also have Matt Dills that just got his book released as well. So definitely check out all these amazing authors that we have had on the show here with Pam, Jackie, Matt, Austin, and Nathaniel. Definitely go check out their books and put in a review for them as well. Also, I'm going to run one last commercial here real quick before I close out the show, and we'll end it with this.
Okay.
And by the way, I'm definitely going to go have some of these amazing wings here at Buffalo Wild Wings, along with a cold beer here, real quick. And I'd also like to thank each and every one of you for following and supporting the Eternal X Wolfpack Paranormal. And thank you, Pam, for coming
You're
on.
welcome. Thank you for having me on.
Everybody have a great weekend. What's left of it? We're out of here.
Bye bye.